And this is the first chapter of the two-dimensional medium part, drawing. So let's see. Drawing has been used as preliminary steps. Many artists have traditionally learned by making drawings of other artists' work. They did so to learn how earlier artists made their images, but also to develop their eye, meaning their taste or preference for the great art of the past. Studying and drawing works from ancient Greece and Rome was a standard practice for the Western artists from the 15th century until well into the 19th century. All right, so here is idea sketch. Idea sketch drawing. Can you guess what this drawing is about?
Sure.
It's
I'm sorry.
it's really hard to recognize, right?
Is that a rough draft of
Yeah,
the
it's a draft.
abstract painting?
Yeah, it's a rough draft for the painting. It seems like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Pablo Picasso did.
maybe.
I guess it seems like it was a little kid.
Yeah. So it's just an idea sketch with the scribble drawing lines, and nobody can assume what it's going to be. Now here is a hint on the bottom. Now Pablo Picasso, first composition study for Guernica. Do you remember the painting of Guernica by Pablo Picasso? No?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't know.
I will show you a better drawing to assume the painting. This is it. Looks better, right?
Okay, yeah.
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 Got it?
Yeah, much.
Animals and some legs and people.
So it's a charcoal drawing to show his plans in detail. So it shows more detailed plans with settled composition and the flow of emotions by emphasis and subordination. So this is a typical drawing as preliminary steps before the main work of art. Like Pablo Picasso, many of artists use drawing as preliminary steps before they begin with paintings or sculptures because these are hard to fix when they make a mistake. And this is the final version of work, the painting. So based on the previous drawings. Drawings are not always preliminary steps toward a final work of art in another medium. So today, artists have a wide array of drawing surfaces and materials to choose from. So there are dry and liquid media for drawing. Dry media are generally applied directly in stick form, and liquid media are generally applied with a tool such as a pen or a brush. So let's see dry media first. So this is the first dry media we are going to see, graphite. So this is a graphite drawing, which means a pencil drawing. So a graphite is a raw material of a pencil, a soft, crystalline form of carbon first discovered in the 16th century, graphite is a naturally occurring drawing medium. Pure, solid graphite need only be mined, then shaped into a convenient form. The next one is metal point. Um, and it is also called silver point because artists use the silver for the drawing tool. So metal point, which is the ancestor of the graphite pencil, and it is an old technique that was especially popular during the Renaissance. Few artists use it now because it is not very forgiving of mistakes or indecision. So once put down, the lines cannot easily be changed or erased. The drawing medium is a thin wire made of relatively soft metal, such as silver, um, set into a holder for convenience. So I'm gonna share a video to show the metal point detail.
Silver point drawing is a drawing technique that utilizes silver in place of ink. This technique was originally used by scribes and artists in medieval times. A traditional silver point stylus is created by inserting a small silver wire into a wooden rod. Silver point is one of several different types of metal point drawing techniques. Lead and tin were most commonly used until silver point gained notoriety in the late Gothic era. Silver was favored because it wouldn't blunt as easily as lead or tin. This allowed artists to make straighter lines and include more detail in their work. Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, and Jan van Eyck were among early Renaissance artists using silver point. Silver point is regarded as a highly unforgiving drawing medium because it is completely permanent. Silver point became phased out of popular use after graphite was popularized in the late 16th century. Despite its fall from favor, artists like Rembrandt and Hendrik Goltzius continued to use silver point into the 17th century. Called an up.
All right. So that was metal point. And the next drawing media we are going to see is charcoal. So this is one of the favorite dry media for the artist. So charcoal is charred wood. Techniques for manufacturing it have been known since ancient time. The best quality artist charcoal is made from special vine or willow twigs, slowly heated in an air airtight chamber until only sticks of carbon remain black, brittle, and feather-light. And here's another popular dry media in drawing, crayon. So crayon and pastels are made of powdered pigments, the same as those used to make paints mixed with a binder. For crayons, the binder is a greasy or waxy substance. The coloring crayons we give to children, for example, use a wax binder. So finer, denser, more brilliant versions of these crayons have been developed for artists. And pastel. So this is a pastel drawing. Pastel consists of pigment bound with a non-greasy binder, such as a solution of gum arabic or gum tragacanth and water. The principle is simple enough that artists can manufacture their own if they choose, mixing pigment and binder into a dolly paste, then rolling the paste into sticks and letting it dry. Um, Available in a full range of colors and several degrees of hardness, pastel is often considered a borderline medium, somewhere between painting and drawing. Artists favor soft pastels for most work, reserving the harder ones for special effects or details. Because they are bound so lightly, pastels leave a velvety line of almost pure pigment. So this is Edgar Degas pastel drawing. So there is a video about this artist in the Moodle Room in week 5.1. So please watch this video after this meeting, and you will see beautiful pastel drawings made by Edgar Degas. And the next dry media in drawing is chalk. So chalk is the name for a kind of soft white limestone. In art, the word had been used less precisely to name three soft, finely textured stones that can be used for drawing, such as black chalk, red chalk, and white chalk. And like graphite, these stones need only be minded and then cut into convenient sizes for use. So this is a street artist, David Jean's chalk drawing. So I'm gonna share a video to show his very creative and cute chalk drawing work. So he drew very cute characters on the street with the chalk, and he created illusion, three-dimensional objects on the two-dimensional surface on the street, which is amazing. Aren't they so cute?
Awesome.
Very cute.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's standing up.
Yeah.
It doesn't look
Yeah.
like flat to the ground.
It's just
Yeah.
flat.
Mhm.
Looks like realistic in his face.
Love this.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Art, no matter how ridiculous, he or she is technically doing his or her job.
Okay, so he's holding the charcoal to draw. I guess he's using the charcoal for the sketch.
There's always streaks and specks and objects on the sidewalk. And if you stare at them long enough, they start to show you other things that they would like to be. The things I like most about making art on the sidewalk are that it's childish, which makes it a great way to reconnect with that supreme self-confidence we all had as children. It's anonymous, so you don't have to worry about being embarrassed about what you've drawn, because if you don't put your name on it, no one will know it was you. And it's unpreservable, since the art itself can't be saved or sold in a particular way. There are fewer distractions from just the joy of drawing or the joy of drawing.
All right. So he's a street artist, David Jin. Okay. So so here is the liquid media's drawing, pen and ink drawing, and brush and ink drawing. So they all look like this. Um, but the liquid media is not really popular media for drawing. So we're gonna just skip it. Just remember, um, there are pen and ink drawing and a brush and ink drawing for the liquid media. Now, let's talk about paper. Paper is essential material for drawing. We will see what the paper is with a brief paper history and paper as medium in art. Um, Paper is wool or fibers beaten to a pulp mixed with water, then spread in a thin layer over a fine mesh surface and left to dry. Our word paper is derived from the Latin word papyrus, which is the ancient Romans used to designate both a plant that grew along the banks of the Nile River and writing material that the ancient Egyptian made from it. So let's see a brief paper history. So paper was invented in China in 2nd BCE. So Buddhist monks spread news the paper making technique across Asia. And about 8th century, Muslim arose in Middle East, and Muslim played a role as a bridge between China and Europe to spread the paper making technique. So the Europeans learned paper making from Muslim neighbors. In 13th century, paper was being manufactured in the West. And after the Industrial Revolution in 19th century, paper began to be produced by machine. And finally, instead of individual sheets, machines manufactured the paper in continuous row. In 20th century, paper had become the ubiquitous material we know today, such as newspaper, magazines, advertising posters, and other products. So now let's see how artists use the industrial paper as one of the artistic medium beyond the traditional drawing. Um, in 1912, this new visual reality found its way into art in a revolutionary way. So many artists changed their style from representational to the non-representational. Do you remember the reason why many artists suddenly abandoned the traditional artwork style for the abstract art? We learned that very first class of this course. Do you remember the reason?
Was it because pictures, like photo taking, was a thing?
Yes, perfect. Yes. So it is because of photography. Yes. So that's why many of artists abandoned the traditional art style and then they sought to the non-representational style. And the first step was taken by Pablo Picasso. This is a Georges Braque's work of art, and Georges Braque was Picasso's friend, and he began experiment in earnest with bringing pieces of industrially printed paper directly into his abstract drawings. And Brocchius' invention, which was taken up immediately by Pablo Picasso, became known as papier-collé, French for pasted paper. A broader term for it is collage, from the French for pasting or gluing. And papier-collé is by definition made of paper, and collage and does not imply any specific materials. So after Picasso and Brocchio, many artists adopted this method of composing a picture by gathering bits and pieces from various sources. So let's see collage works as an art genre. So this is Romer Bearden's mysterious work, which is a collage work in 1964. So what you can see, what can you see through this work of art?
A lot of faces and eyes.
Yes, lots of faces. Yes. What else?
Mostly people being of African American descent, it looks
That's
like.
right. That's right. So we can assume the artist wanted to describe the African Americans, life or society, right? Yes, very good. So, so this is Bearden, and she's holding. She was grown up as African American in rural North Carolina, and she's holding the African American folk tradition quilting in her hands, and we can see um, the rhythms and improvisatory nature of jazz. So, and there is African sculpture on the left face, and there is a train. So this train means outside world, which is the white world. So through this work, Bearden wants to show African Americans' life and culture in 60s through this work of art. And here's another example of collage. So what can you see through this work of art?
Maybe a woman's body.
Uh-huh, woman's body. How do you feel? How does she look like?
Uncomfortable, maybe.
Yeah, uncomfortable.
Maybe in pain even. I'm not entirely
Yes.
sure.
Very good. You got the point. Yes, she looks very painful. Yes. And also somehow she looks like an animal or insect, right? So it looks like
Yeah.
something,
Going through
unusual.
metamorphosis,
Yeah.
maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So transformation of some kind. I don't know, but
yeah. Very good. So the artist made the hair on her body to show, to suggest that she's an animal, and there are spotted and marbled body texture on her body, and that evokes expensive designer fabrics, and which shows camouflage or disease maybe. And when you see this work closer, you can see some of her body parts consist of mechanical extension. And the eyes, mouth are pieces of photographs. So this work of art implies deadly conflicts often erupted in African society. And here's another beautiful three-dimensional collage drawing. How do you think about this work of art?
It looks like paper.
Yes,
The
air
wind.
paper. Yes.
Maybe
But-
like the maybe to look like water, maybe or like
Oh,
wind.
water. Yeah, it
With
can
the wind.
be. Yeah, water or the water's wave. Yeah,
Mhm.
or it looks like
It looks like a monster.
a monster. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it can be. No, no, there, it can be, there are lots of, interpretation, we can make through this work of art. Yes, because it's an abstract work of art. So it makes line drawings in brush and ink on large roll paper. So can you see the dark lines? So these are all the ink drawing. And the cutting out selected area makes versions of the drawing in positive and the negative shapes. And it assembles the open work drawings on site to create delicate yet turbulent sculptural forms. So these drawings and their shadows capture a weightless world in flux, frozen in time, tottering on the brink of being and not being. So, as you can see, the drawings can be, developed in a diverse ways. So that's it for this chapter. And we have a discussion today, which is going to be very simple and it's going to be fun to answer. So here's the topic. Is drawing a learned skill or a natural talent? So please reply now your thinking in this discussion 5.1 by tonight, and by tomorrow, please reply to your peers. Any question?